Well, welcome to Market Day Report. It's Wednesday. I'm Tommy Grisafi, sitting in for my good friend Tony St. James. We got a couple more days of trading, Wednesday, Thursday. Then the markets are going to be closed for a long holiday break. Markets were open overnight, and then after tomorrow, they're going to be closed. So let's see if you have anything you need to wrap up, any trades you need to do. And I'm real excited to see how these cattle are going to open at 8:30. But let's first look at the corn market. We'll go through what markets did overnight, and then we'll bring in our next guest here in a little bit. So July corn, 416.5, down 3.5. July is in the delivery period. We'll look at SEP corn, 403.25, down 2 3/4. December corn, 419, down 3. Let's head over to soybeans. A little different story here in soybeans. Seeing some strength here this morning. A nice looking board. August soybeans, 1039, up 9. SEP soybeans, 1025.5, up 7. November soybeans, 1033 3/4, up 6.5. If November beans were to hit 1050, 1075, 11, I do believe producers are getting to a point where they might want to start selling. But we'll see what our guest says. He's an expert. Let's head over to Chicago to wheat. Board of Trade wheat, SEP wheat, 545 3/4, down 3. Wheat had a good day yesterday. Let's see if it can back up a couple of those. We'll head over to Kansas City. Kansas City wheat was having a hard time keeping up with the board yesterday, but SEP Kansas City, 529, down 2 1/4. December Kansas City, 552, down 2 3/4, all the way out to the May, trying to fight for that $6 level, 586, down 2.5. Looking at spring wheat, which I did notice was up for a while last night, but it's not holding those gains. 626, down 1 in the SEP spring wheat. Go all the way out to the December, 644. Looking all the way out to the May, approaching that $7 level, or at least we can maybe see it, 667, down 4. Cotton overnight. Cotton market's been very quiet the last few months, but we're seeing some strength. July cotton, which is, you don't want to be too involved in that, 66.28. Ock cotton and Dees cotton, 68.49, up 46. Let's bring him to the show, Mr. Brian Hoops, Midwest Market Solutions. Stage is yours. I know we just talked grains, but I kind of want to skip right to cattle. Is that okay?
We can talk about whatever you want. You're the boss.
No, actually, Alex is the boss. He's the one who talks in my ear. But go ahead. Thoughts on grains, and then we can talk cattle a little bit.
You look. I think you got kind of a two-tiered market in here so far. You have corn, which is looking ahead to pollination forecasts. There's estimates by July the 20th or so, we're going to have 50% of the central corn crop in the Midwest under pollination. And the forecast out to the 17th, really no heat that would hurt things, a lot of moisture. It looks like really near ideal conditions for at least half of the crop to pollinate under. And then we get into the end of July, maybe we start talking about a little drier conditions. That could maybe put a little bit of a hurt in the yield, especially for soybeans. You saw the Senate bill pass yesterday, or the bill passed through the Senate. It promotes expansion of U.S. biodiesel, so we're seeing a bounce in bean oil that's spilled over into soybeans as well. There's a couple things I think that bode watching. The soybean market, certainly weather into the end of July. You know, they can't predict the forecast through this weekend and what's going to go on the 4th of July, but we're going to try and look ahead into the end of the month of July and see if it does turn drier. That could give us a rally in the soybean market. Otherwise, there just isn't a lot really to focus on. The report on Monday was a yawner, didn't give us a lot of direction for sure. And so you're back to watching weather, trade agreements, and that sort of thing as we go into middle of July and into the end of July through pollination.
Yeah, back to the basics, Brian. Real quick before we go on commercial break and come back and talk meats. What's on the Hoops menu as far as proteins this barbecue 4th of July?
Well, there's always chicken on the menu, always, as well as beef. A lot of chicken, a lot of beef, that's for sure.
That sounds good. Brian, we're going to wrap things up here, go on a little commercial break. But when we come back, we're going to do talk cattle, and I know you know a lot about that when we come back with Market Day Report. Stay right there. Welcome back to Market Day Report. Here, we're going to talk cattle, live cattle, and we're going to go right to the August board here. Looking at August here, this is yesterday's prices, by the way, and not as much exciting as it used to be when we had the night markets, but I don't think there's many cattle traders who are too upset we don't have that. August cattle, 210.75, down 312. Looking at Ock live cattle, 207.65, down 252. December cattle, 208.10, down 255. Feeder cattle had a rough day yesterday, and again, these are yesterday's prices. Looking at August feeders, 305.85, down 482. Looking at SEP, 305.57, down 5. Going all the way out to the Octave and Jan, 303, $3 and $2.94. The greatest premium paid in these meats is for the front month. The front months definitely have a bid. Last but not least, till we get back to our guest, we'll go to lean hogs. Lean hogs, we're looking at July 109.02, down $1. August 106.97, down 50. All the way out December prices not nearly as great, 83.77, unchanged. All right, let's bring him in, Mr. Brian Hoops, Midwest Market Solutions. And you and I were having so much fun talking, I forgot that we were starting the show again. But let's talk meats.
Yeah, quite a day of the livestock yesterday, of course, with the news that we're opening the border again to allow imports starting next Monday. And the talk that these cattle will be a little bit heavier than maybe expected. Normally, they're pretty lightweight cattle, but these may be a little bit heavier, hitting the market sooner rather than later. It's also been kind of rumored that each week they're going to open another port if things go well, and so that eventually we're going to see full imports of cattle back into the United States, just like we were before, assuming that things go well. So it has hurt the markets, especially feeder cattle yesterday. And there was some cash cattle trade. Now it's just a handful, about 650 head is all, but they traded lower, 220 to 224. It's maybe enough to kind of set a negative tone for the cash this week, which I thought was steady to lower called anyway. So it's not a surprise, I don't think. Next week, we could see that cattle market really stabilize, I think, in the cash markets. Packer margins are back in the black in here. And if these cutout values can hold through the 4th of July holiday, and I think they will because of the decreased production that usually keeps your boxes fairly steady, we should see cash trade resume strength probably next week. But we're getting past these key grilling timeframes. Father's Day, 4th of July holiday, demand does start to soften up a little bit. So, we're getting to the end of summer here.
Yeah, and as you said, a big shout out to the all people who raise livestock or any type of proteins, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because they don't get many days off.
No, but at your house, it's going to be chicken, you say?
And steak, yeah, a lot
Oh,
of steak.
and steak. We got that
Yeah,
in
you
there.
got it. Absolutely.
Oh, very good. Very good. All right, Brian, always great chatting with you, and we're going to get on with the show. See you, my friend. What do you think, Tam?
Oh man, look,
Chicken.
we do chicken, but we also do beef, but we do a lot of pork. We love grilled sausage too at our house in Louisiana.
Man. All good stuff.
Yeah, it is good stuff. Thanks, Tommy.